Today's episode of Tiling Connect is brought to you by Lux's Grates, the leaders in aluminium drainage, which are UV stable, rust proof and customisable on site. Available in your local tile or plumbing shop. Hey everybody, Mark here from Tiling Connect. Welcome to today's episode. I have another amazing guest on with us today, and very honoured and privileged to have Adam Pilling from ASP Contracting all the way in Geelong, Melbourne with us today. Adam, thank you for being a part of the show.
No worries at all, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Mate, you're very welcome. It's always great to connect in with new people in the industry. I'm sure that at some point we probably ran into each other, when I was working for National Tiles and I was at Geelong there. But I can't remember the face, but I'm sure we did.
I'm sure we did at some stage, yeah, definitely, or at a trade show or somewhere. We would have connected somewhere, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, mate, thanks for jumping on the program. As you know from listening to a few of the episodes, we really do like to get into the hardy part of the show pretty early, and we want to find out more about you, mate, in the hope of strengthening the business of tiling. So I'm going to pass it over to you, mate, so you can give us a bit of a background on you and your career in the industry and how it all started.
Okay. Well, Geelong born and raised. Grew up, my dad was a tradesman, so always been hands-on, school holidays and weekends, always trying to earn a bit of pocket money, and got taken to work many, many times. Left school at 16 to do a carpentry apprenticeship. So did that and saw that out, and really started just wanting to, I suppose, experience all parts of construction. My dad did brick paving and bricklaying, and worked with him for a little while. Moved on into civil construction, did a few years of civil construction, sort of just starting out as virtually a labourer and working my way up to a senior foreman. And then got into waterproofing purely by fluke. A good friend of mine's dad had a business. They were working doing waterproofing, and I just said to him one day, I need a change. We just happened to be on the same job together, a commercial job down the coast. And he said, oh, we're looking for someone. Do you want to come work for us? And I had no idea what waterproofing was. Back when I was a carpentry apprentice, there was no waterproofing I ever saw really, besides maybe a bit of black bitumen. And so he sort of showed me a few things they were doing, and we had a chat, and I chatted to his dad, and we literally struck a deal. So I gave notice from civil construction and moved into waterproofing.
Wow.
So I was with them for approximately 4 years, Geelong Waterproofing. The good thing was we did the standard domestic waterproofing, balconies, bathrooms, that sort of thing. But we also did a lot of confined space work, a lot of sewer rehabilitation work, and a lot of remedial work. So got to see a lot of different things where the sort of, I suppose, the average waterproofer wouldn't see. Mm-hmm. Working in the outfall sewer, working in pipes with live sewer going through them, working under full breathing apparatus, wow. 20, 30 metres underground. We did crack injection. We did polyurea spraying, a lot of different concrete repairs, high-strength concrete repairs, repairing sewer pits in roads where we had to get the sewer pit sealed and repaired, and then the traffic had to be running over it within an hour or two.
Wow.
So got to do a lot of that sort of stuff. So that was a brilliant start to my waterproofing career.
Yeah. Fantastic, mate. And wow, so you've started in construction at an early age, and it's obviously unfolded into what it is today. And it must be such a good feeling to have that much experience, particularly in the waterproofing space, to be able to lean back on that, with any current work that you do, as opposed to, someone that's just literally done one style of waterproofing for their career. Do you find that's a big advantage?
Yeah, I think so, because personally, I do basements, bathrooms, balconies, your stock standard stuff. That's obviously the bread and butter.
Yeah.
But I love the remedial side of things. I love trying to find where is water coming from, how are we going to fix this? How do we repair it? Basement cellars, leaking pipes. You know, we've fixed leaking pipes that are still, you know, 3, 4, 500 mil diameter concrete pipes that are still under pressure, and we've managed to fix them without having to stop the water flow. Things like that. Those sort of things, yeah, I really, really enjoy them, and it's brilliant, and it's just, it keeps it interesting because it keeps your mind going, and then you obviously relying on some brilliant products as well to help with these outcomes.
Yeah, fantastic, man. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, buddy. And so would you say that waterproofing is really the core part of what you do, or are there other things around waterproofing that you're involved in as a part of ASP Contracting?
Well, I suppose I kept it. I started ASP Contracting because it started as carpentry. I was doing carpentry, and then I just and then like I said, I left that and ended up in waterproofing. I probably did, like I said, about 4 years with Geelong Waterproofing for different circumstances. I always had a thing I wanted to do commercial, high rise. So I went back to that for a little while and jumped on doing formwork for a couple of years in Melbourne. And then what happened? Global financial crisis hit. That all changed, and just happened to bump into my old boss from Geelong Waterproofing one day. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm a bit quiet. I need someone. Do you want to come back?"
Yeah.
And then it was like that. So I ended up going back there for about another 3 years doing that, and then ended up sort of going out on my own.
Yeah, cool.
So it was really good. I think what I think a huge privilege was he taught us how to do it right.
Yeah.
I've got to take my hat off to him. His name was John Smith. Brilliant guy as far as a boss was concerned. There was never a time we got told, hurry up, rush. It was always take your time, do a good job, prep it well, let the coats dry the right amount of time they need. You know, it was, if we're not done today, we'll go back tomorrow. It's not a problem in the world. It was always use the best possible products, always got the reps to come out and train us and, you know, show us in those products. And we, like I said, we never got told to rush. It was always, we're going to do it once and we're going to do it right. Yeah.
So it's obviously a big quality focus, right?
That's right. That's right. It was always, I never want to come back to these jobs. That was the sort of thing, you know, we're going to do it to the best of our ability with the best possible products. And I think that's just the philosophy I've taken with me, that, you know, you get one shot at it. So let's do it right. Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool, man. Awesome. Yeah. It's good. It's really good to have conversations with people like that are very intrinsically passionate about, you know, that quality part of the industry and delivering quality. You know, and I'm not to say that everybody's not, their intent is to deliver quality, but sometimes the environment that you're working in, it's very difficult to achieve that. You know,
that's right.
People, other trades, time, look, it could even be, you know, sort of council or government impact, you know, so it's, awesome, mate. Keep that up.
Yes.
Mate, can you give us a bit of an idea? Can you give us, share with us a particularly challenging project that you worked on, and how you overcome any obstacles on that to achieve a successful outcome?
Yeah, we had one. It was a commercial building, 5-story office building in Geelong City. It was leaking. They'd had a few different contractors come in and say they'd fix it, and basically sort of patched it, I suppose you'd say, and to the point where I got recommended, and you know, I think I was the 3rd or 4th contractor to come in and have a look at it.
Yeah, wow.
And it was an old bitumen torch-on membrane roof.
Oh.
And, you know, I had a few ideas and what I thought about it. But again, I called in, you know, a rep to have a look at it over with me. They gave me a specification. There was always this talk of having to take all the bitumen up.
Yeah.
And then when, you know, the reps came in, we had a bit of a look. No, we don't have to take it up. There's primers that we can go over it and we can coat over it. We can use a UV stable product. We ended up using a product with UV solar reflectance in it, so it actually kept the building cooler as well as being a membrane.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and you know, and I think being able to go to the client and having this spec from the manufacturer to say, well, this is how they've spec'd it, this is the product used, and this is their guarantee and their backing. The client said to me they were very impressed with that to have that straight away, to see that. Yeah, it was quite a sort of a big project for myself. So we broke it up into a couple of different stages. And the outcome ended up being brilliant. And yeah, you know, it was sort of a happy outcome for everybody. Client was wrapped. I was really happy with it, and the product manufacturers are really happy with the way the whole project turned out.
Yeah, look, it's a pretty cool example. Particularly, I mean, I did about 7 or 8 years working for a couple of different adhesive manufacturers in Australia, sort of part of my repertoire with my career, and I always highly encouraged a lot of the people that I dealt with, particularly tiling contractors and waterproofers and things like that, that if you ever had a question in a technical capacity, don't ever not call us for advice. Like, you know, get us on site, let us have a look at it.
Yes.
Check out, you know, what the parameters are, because, you know, there might be certain things that, you know, could potentially be that could exacerbate the issue and make it worse. But you want to have, you know, some sort of, I suppose, you know, the people that I worked with at the time wanted to have some sort of guarantee that whatever system that they use next was going to be somewhat bulletproof and fix the issue. And I wish more people would do that. I know that there's a group of people out there that definitely lean on all of the different adhesive manufacturers around there, and there's tons in Australia. But certainly, I imagine that you would share that it's really important to actually have those relationships with the representatives of the glue companies and the waterproofing companies.
Totally, 110%. Yeah, I think everything. You know, we've constantly got new products coming out in the market. Not just in, you know, the waterproofing products, but the construction products, new sheeting, new claddings, all sorts of different things. And you've got to find out about the makeup of those products and, yeah, how things going to bond and what's going to react and, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. So there's always that talk going on, and it's constant, you know, and I think we're all constantly learning, you know, we never stop learning. And I think that's a great thing. Yeah. So, yeah, you got to have a good relationship with your reps, that's for sure.
Nice.
That's priority.
Nice.
No one knows. And even the reps will admit sometimes they don't know, but they're always happy to go back, you know, to their companies and chase up a bit of information for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some pretty good relations.
Sometimes it involves doing some tests. I've done, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, sorry to cut you off there, mate. I had a couple of really powerful technical guys that worked for one of the companies that I was involved in, and one of the guys who's obviously long retired he's been a chemist for 35 years, and his knowledge around chemicals and how they work, and particularly during their application, was just phenomenal. You could ring the guy. The only problem was when you called him for support, you could be on the phone for 2 hours. And that obviously chewed up a lot of time, because Mike was he loves sharing information. So you'd ask him a pretty direct question, and he'd go, "Look, I could answer it this way, but let's talk about these other 4 parameters or 5 parameters that could actually affect the performance of the product in that area." I'm like, Mike, I don't have time, but I'll give you 10 minutes and let's talk about just the 2 parameters because we need to get the solution pretty quickly. But he come from a place of goodness, because he was trying to educate us as salespeople about, you know, why he was sharing the information with us so that we could then give it to the contractor. So anyway, long story short, mate, what advice would you give aspiring contractors in, you know, the industry that are just starting out? Like, you know, they're just about to finish their trade, and obviously you're in that waterproofing. Waterproofing is a big part of your space right now. Tell us more. What advice would you give anyone that's just starting
out? Don't cut corners. You have to do the preparation. You have to do the base work. You have to do the starting things. Basically, I say to people, putting the membrane on is the easy part. You've always got to know your substrate, make sure it's prepared right, make sure it's clean, make sure it's tidy. Go through all those things, because all you're doing otherwise is just putting a Band-Aid on an axe wound. I think it's just do the preparation, and there's an old saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Yeah,
that is the big thing. And I get it. I still get it a lot. Builders trying to rush you. Come on, mate, we need this done. Come on, mate, we want to get the tiler in. Come on, mate. And you just have to stand your ground and say, you know, I need so long to get the work done. It needs so long to cure.
Yep.
Then you can get your tiler onto it or whoever's following on. But don't let them pressure you. You just it's a huge part of it, waterproofing especially.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. Awesome. Yeah. Very awesome. Tell me, look, one of the things that I think obviously is very difficult in any job or any career is obviously staying motivated, right? And keeping an upbeat approach to everything that you do. Yes. Like with, I suppose inspired is probably one of those things as well. I find that really interesting is to stay inspired in what you're doing. I mean, today we work very differently to the way that our parents did when they grew up. You know, my father was in the police force for 21, 22 years before he retired. And, you know, and you still see it in snippets in life where people have been in jobs for a long time. But it's slowly but surely fading away where, you know, particularly with the younger generations, they might be in a job for 12 months and that's like a lifetime. So what do you do to stay motivated and inspired, especially during sort of difficult times, or when you get or when a setback occurs?
You definitely need days where you have to be able to step away. You have to just say to yourself, right, I'm having today off and I'm going to, for example, I love riding my bike. I'm going to go ride my bike for a day just to get out, clear the head. And I think, you know, it's these, like you say, this modern day and age, it's changed a lot, and things like, you know, mental health days are becoming quite a big thing, and I believe they're quite an important thing. Might be, you know, I might take a couple of days off and go away camping and fishing with my son.
Yeah.
And it's just that clear the head, quiet time, you know, the precious things in life. Bit more on a sort of, I suppose, work trades basis of things. I like to go to trade shows.
Oh, cool.
Take a day off work and go to the trade show. You know, I'll try and find one of my mates that's in the trade as well. Right, there's a trade show on. We go into it for the day. You get to speak to some new, you know, see new products that are coming on the market, see new tools, meet new people in the trade, and then you might go, right, come on, we're going for lunch, or we're going to go for dinner afterwards and make a day of it. But yeah, you walk away with, you know, a bag full of brochures and information, and you've like, you can create some new contacts. And sometimes, you know, you'll try these new products. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you'll never see them get out of the trade show. But it's just a change of scenery. But I think it keeps you focused on the job and what's going on. But you're still just breaking that cycle up a bit.
Yeah, it's an awesome attitude to have, mate. Like I love, you know, I suppose the self-realization and self-talk that you need to have with your own body and mind when you go, look, I just need to take a day off for me. Particularly, I mean, I've got mates who are tilers and plumbers. I've got mates in Melbourne, and you know, they work sort of tirelessly long hours, and it can be 6.5 days a week. And if you're doing those sort of hours, you really do need to look after yourself and take a break. And particularly, you know, in that trade space, you know, connecting and networking with other people in the industry, you might only pick up one or two things from a trade show, but they could be worth thousands of dollars if you put them into an application with something that you're doing in work, or a product that can give you back, I don't know, 2-3 hours a day. So right, new technologies and things like that. So yeah, cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Can you tell us about a particular project that you've done recently or in the last few years that you're particularly proud of? It stands out, you know, like one of those ones that, you know. Are you looking for a water drainage solution that serves its purpose and has a touch of elegance to your space? Lux's Grates are here to revolutionise your indoor and outdoor spaces. Whether it's your shower, bathroom, balcony, pool, or any other area, Lux's Grates is the ideal choice. It's quick and easy installation that you can bang out in just over an hour. Their standard grates offer a classic and timeless look, while the next generation style adds a modern twist. Lux's Grates are made of high quality anodised aluminium, ensuring durability and longevity.
Yeah, I got to work, just off the top of it, I got to work with a couple of Italian brothers that have a building company in Melbourne. They're not sort of big on advertising or anything like that. Again, I got recommended to them, didn't know much about them. We built a beautiful place in Toorak. If you know it, it's probably the nicest suburb of Melbourne. This house was absolutely stunning. We're talking, I think, $15 million.
Nice.
But just to work with these brothers, they just had this attitude of, we're not building for a 7-year warranty, we're building for life. And just to
I like that.
Yeah, that was their attitude. And just to see the way they worked, and they were three of them, I think the youngest one's, in his 50s. And they said, we've always done our own waterproofing because we just don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Their dad had come out from Italy and started the business, digging footings by hand and everything by hand and the old hard frames. They built this business, and these boys have built up to this sort of caliber of home. And they said, look, we're just getting too old now. We're just getting the body's too sore. We don't want to do our own waterproofing anymore. And I got recommended to them. But just to be on their site and just to see how they operated, and at least one of the brothers was there every single day for every minute of the day. The only time he left usually was he'd leave every day in the afternoon to go grab a couple of beers and some waters, and he'd come back, and every afternoon everybody would have a beer or water or something, just to finish that last 15 minutes of the day. Yeah. But just to see the way they ran their site, and the way they constructed things, it was a beautiful thing to see. And I was really proud to be able to be part of that build. Yeah. And they're going to do, they've got another one starting up at the moment. They've contacted me about doing some work on shortly. And it really made me smile just to be able to, when they called me up for this build, because to be picked to be able to work on a home of that caliber, I think it's a really beautiful thing. And it was just a really enjoyable experience to see the pride and the passion of every one of their tradesmen and the way these gentlemen worked. It was beautiful. So, that was a great thing.
That's an awesome share. Do you think that that's something that's lacking in the industry? That pride? Yes. Like, I mean, I don't want to pick on the industry, right? No, because I'm here to strengthen the business of what we do. But there's so much bad news coming out of Melbourne at the moment on mainstream media. Now, look, I'm not a mainstream media expert, and I certainly, I don't follow. I don't believe everything that we're told, but there's a lot of other independent journalists as well that are out there doing stuff on, things that, stuff that's coming out of Melbourne. I know that it's happening in every state, but there just seems to be a little bit more of a focus in Melbourne. So have we lost? Do you think we in some part we've lost what that quality aspect of what we're doing? Is it just rush, or what do you think's happening?
I believe it's a combination of rush, and just not enough skill set. Yeah. These you speak to these builders, and some of them, and they've got the best intentions in the world, but they've literally hardly just come out of studying, and they're trying to build these huge, big buildings. And then, but they're not on site every day, and they're not, there's just a lot of things that could be done a lot better that are overlooked. I just, again, I think any builder that started hands-on is always a much better builder. Sort of grassroots, worked his way up in a way, seen the whole bigger picture of it. Often has a lot better idea of what's going on than some builder that sort of stepped out of university and, straight away thinks he's a builder. But I don't know. I find, just from my point of view, you know, I never or very rarely get asked for my qualifications. I very rarely get asked what product are you using, what manufacturer am I using, anything like that. 99% of the time, it's how much and how quickly can you have it done.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, waterproofing has got to be, you know, one of the most crucial parts of a build. I'm not trying to, you know, blow my own tires up or anything like that, but I believe it's a very serious part of the build.
You can, mate. It's my show. You can do whatever you want.
But yeah, they still just don't seem to take it seriously enough. And I think I walk in and like balcony decks are a huge thing. You walk in and they're not right. They haven't been constructed right.
Yeah.
And I say to the builder, you know, that's not right, and that's not right, and that's not right. Oh, it's okay. You're going to waterproof it. I said, but we've got issues. We've got issues before I'm even starting here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, but can you sort of, when can you have it done? Like the tiles lined up. When can you have it done? And it's like, mate, this is going to cause you a lot of grief down the track. And yeah, I think we need to look at just, that slow it down a bit, slow it down and make sure things are right and the quality. And again, like some of these builders, they don't have a foreman, or, you know, no one's there overseeing some of these trades and checking that, has it been done right? Is it to the standard? Is it you know, does it work?
Yeah.
So I think those things could change a lot, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, and I think it's one of those topics that you could probably spend an entire episode on talking about, but certainly, you know, look, I've got a good friend of mine who I'm actually coming down to Melbourne this week. A good friend of mine's a plumber, and he's methodical, like with his workmanship, and we talk a lot all the time because obviously I'm in that building product space, and he's in the trade, and he's a really good mate of mine, and you know, we'll sit there and hash it out for hours on a Friday night, probably this Friday night. Probably be a few bottles of red wine involved. And, you know, we'll just talk about, you know, his work and what he does. And he does a lot of bathroom renovations and dentistries and things like that. And he just has such a high expectation for his business and for the people who work for him. It's phenomenal. It's not something that you come across a lot because, you know, people are usually just in there to make it happen, get it done, get out, get to the next job. And that's a cycle, right? It's on repeat.
Yes.
And, yeah, I saw a post today on Tile Geeks on Facebook with the tiling crew, and there was a bit of a debate on there about a price. And the contractors on there do ask the community quite a bit for advice on what to charge, or whether or not what they're charging or what they've quoted a particular job is too high or too low. And this particular one jumped on there today, and this guy was asking the community about a price that he had quoted a client for a lay on some big format porcelain tiles. This was his price. I won't go into the particulars, but this was his price. And, you know, was it too high? Because the client had turned around to him and basically said that the next best price was about $60 cheaper per square metre. The lowest, according to the client, was $40 a square metre for lay. And I'm like, well, there's something wrong with the $40 price. Because there's no way that you're laying a 1200 by 800 tile for $40 a square metre. I don't care who you are. And if you are, there's probably no adhesive underneath the tile. But yeah, it's just really, it's interesting. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm wondering whether or not a lot of the education needs to actually happen at the interface with the client. With the clients are just you know, where do they get their expectations around what pricing should be? Because it's not widely advertised online. I mean, anything that's online is not super accurate. It's like I've seen it and I've gone, yeah, that data's not right for Australia.
Yeah. But I've had a few just in recent times, a few younger crew come to me, and you know, they're on site, apprentices in different trades, or even a couple of labourers, and you know, waterproofers, you guys make a fortune, yeah, you know.
I've heard that, yep.
You know, and what do we have to do? And you know, I had one guy the other day say, I've rung National Tiles because I heard you can do a half-day course and then you're a waterproofer, you get your ticket. I'm going to go do that. And I said, mate, it's a little bit more to it than that, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, just, you know, but it's sort of, I don't know, it seems to be, this thing that gets thrown out there that, you know, tradesmen make huge amounts of money, and it's so easy to do. And you know, I don't know, waterproofing I've seen around here seems to be like the new Jim's mowing. Everybody thinks they can pick up a bucket and a roller and off they go, and they're a waterproofer.
So much more to it.
Yeah, you're constantly seeing, you know, new utes and vans getting around, new businesses starting up. And look, good luck to them, but it's not just, I think people just seem to think it's just rolling on some membrane, you know.
Yeah. There's quite a bit more. There's quite a few more procedures that have to be implemented first before, as you know.
That's right, and I think it seems to be happening in quite a different amount of trades. It's the skill set. Guys seem to well, Victoria, you know, you don't have to be licensed in most things. Like, I still can't believe waterproofers don't have to be licensed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of other trades, you know, I know a lot of the other states you have to be licensed pretty much to do any trade, which I think is a brilliant thing.
Yeah. Look, and you know, the thing is,
and I really wish they would bring it in here in Victoria. Yeah.
Look, I'm with you.
Just to keep us accountable and have some sort of a governing body watching over us. I literally today I stripped a tiled deck that had failed. Look, the tiling was a beautiful job. The builder had told me that the tiler had done the waterproofing. The waterproofing was actually a beautiful job, except he had used a stock standard porous primer over all the stainless steel flashings. So all the membrane had just lifted off all the flashings, where it was just a case of he needed a non-porous primer over the flashings. If he had done that, it probably would have been a very successful job, but, you know, it's caused quite a substantial amount of damage. So we're there fixing up at the moment.
And that's
it's just these things, I think, you know, and again, training. Just training and just knowing your products. None of us are experts, but we've always got to constantly be looking at these things.
And you need to be striving for you know, more training and more education around products and you know. And we touched on this earlier, but, you know, trade shows, go and meet and speak to the reps and develop that relationship. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't have to be, you know, I'm not going to mention any names on the show because there's so many of them out there. And, you know, some of them have been on the show previously. And look, they're all great companies and you just need to make a decision about who you want to align yourself with. You may want to have 3 different, you know, brands that you use on different jobs because that's what you prefer. But have the relationship with the technical or sales reps so that you can get the right advice and have a little and sleep a little bit more comfortably at night, knowing that, you know, an expert is giving you that advice, and all you've got to do is follow it. Just apply it the way that they said. And if it's a very sensitive job, and I think I'm pretty sure that most of them still do it, get a technical report written on what the procedure is. If that means and give yourself enough time, like you know. Give yourself, so if you know the job's coming up in a few weeks, get on and do it today. You know, don't go, I'll give them a call a couple of days beforehand. The technical chemist won't be able to write a report in 2 days. Or they just can't drop everything for one person. But if you plan it out and then you've got a documented procedure on what to do, and how good's that? Like, you know, no guesswork.
No, I've done that several times. And I've, you know, you be upfront with the builder or your client and say, I'm not too sure here, but I'm going to get I'm going to bring my company in, you know, and I think even just it shows your client that you're willing, you know, and I've had times they've seen the rep, you know, come in, site with me. This is what we're doing. This is how we have to approach it. This is, you know, you go over it. Yep, no worries. And they, like you say, they write you up that spec. And then you can come to the client saying, well, this is, you know, this is how they want me to do it, and I'm going to follow this spec to the T. It's just another bit of backing. It backs you and it gives you confidence and it gives your client confidence. And I think that's a great thing.
Fantastic, Adam. Fantastic. Well, mate, look, I need to get myself back on track because I think I've railroaded the conversation a little bit. I do apologise. But with what you do, and I know it might not be as look, I shouldn't, I'm not going to say that. With what you do in your trade, how do you approach each project with a creative mindset, and what are some of the ways you bring your style to the work that you do?
Gee, that's a good question. I think I like to always go in and look at the job and check that everything's bulletproof before I start. Like I said, like earlier, check all the flashings, check falls, make sure if it's a bathroom screed, or even if it's a balcony or whatever, check it's got falls. The water is going to go somewhere. You never want water ponding, pooling in certain areas. Check the drainage. Things like puddle flanges and the drains, have they been installed properly? Once I know all that is right, then we look at starting, and then it's just, again, like I spoke about earlier, just preparation. Just make sure everything's prepared right. Even sometimes the biggest thing is keeping other trades away from your work, making sure you've got that time and that space to do your work. And maybe a case of bringing in some sort of barricading or something, and making sure that the builder's aware that, we need this area for a certain amount of time, and no one's going to come in and walk on it or track through it or carry stuff over it or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And then just being able to have that until the end time when you can say, right, here I am, I'm finished, it's done, and hand it over to your client.
On that point, you mentioned about barricading off an area when you're working in it, right? So to give yourself some space and time. How important is communication with other trades and builders from your experience? And particularly, and to that question, like, I reflect back on, we're talking earlier on about, people just starting out in the industry. Keep that in mind when you answer. Like, how important is the style of communication with other trades and builders?
Massive, absolutely massive. Especially like things just outdoor work. It's weather dependent. We're down here in Victoria, the weather can change every 15 minutes. But this is one you have to constantly be talking to the builder and saying, okay, I'm coming tomorrow, weather dependent. We've checked the radar, we've checked the forecast, it's looking good. And you're trying to, you're always trying to give them a time frame, and then it might be you cop rain in the afternoon, or the weather changes for whatever reason. You have to just keep talking to them constantly. If it's, sometimes it's text message, sometimes it's calls. But yeah, waterproofing is one of those things, like most trades, you have to be so flexible.
Yeah.
One day you think you're going here, it can be the next morning you wake up, something's changed, or the builder rings you and says, hey, this guy didn't get finished, or hey, the screed isn't properly dried yet, sorry, you can't get onto it, or the plasterers haven't sanded yet, you can't get into those bathrooms. It's a constant juggling act. So yeah, and I sort of say to people, they try to book jobs in, yep, that's fine, it's an exterior job, we're going to look at it, but it's weather depending. Let's see how, another week or two's time when we get a bit closer, how's the weather forecast looking, what's going to happen? And then it's even a case of, access. How do we get access? We're not sort of walking through mud or something like that. You can't be taking mud on the deck. So have we got a clear access? Yeah. Is there access undercover? Can we cover it? Is there some way we can, set up some sort of temporary shelter maybe to keep the rain off it? But communication is huge. Obviously.
So would it be fair to say, sorry to interrupt, would it be fair to say that you have to take people on the journey with you from start to finish, and you just can't, stop that communication at any particular point in time? Like, get them at the beginning, and as you said, text messages. You've got Messenger these days. God, I think so many of us are actually DMing each other via Instagram, WhatsApp.
Exactly. I think, and you got to remember, that's right. Your builder might be trying to coordinate 5 to 10 different trades.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to work out when everybody's coming in, when everybody's coming out. You might be the linchpin holding up a certain thing, he needs once you're done. Of course, others are coming in. So he's trying to keep in contact with all those. And this, again, comes down, I suppose, quality builders often constantly have the same trades on their sites. So you get to know the plumber, you get to know the electrician, you get to know the concreters. You usually know them, and there is a good working relationship. And and even sometimes the other trades will contact you and say, "Hey, mate, I'm just running a bit behind here. When were you planning on getting in?" Vice versa. While you're here, could you do that? That'll help me out. And it's crucial. It's totally crucial. And I hate having my time wasted. I hate wasting other people's time. So I'm always trying to do those communications. And builders get very angry very quickly when you say you're turning up and then you're a no-show. Because
nothing worse.
Everybody's got a program. That's right.
Yeah. Well, mate, I failed to ask this question earlier as well. How big's your team at ASP Contracting?
I am a one-man show.
Get out of here. No way.
Serious?
Mate, you talk like a guy who's got 20 blokes working for him. No.
I just once I've had a couple guys sort of here and there, and just through circumstances, I just ended up sticking to myself, and this is how I like it.
Yeah.
I suppose in a way I'm a bit of a control freak, so I like to know that I know everything I've done for the day, and how my systems run, and I can go home and sleep well at night.
Yeah, cool.
I know guys. I've got some good mates that run some big crews and some big companies, and I take my hat off to them. Like it's a huge effort.
Yeah.
And but it's just not me. It's just not the way I like to run. And I like it. And I've actually even had builders say, if I employ you, I want to see you on site. I don't want to see other guys, and that sort of thing. So
it
works well with the builders I work with. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, mate, obviously, as we near the end of the show, we have a few more questions to ask, but I will let you know that, and I think I shared it with you, that we do have some fast track questions coming up, which are pretty cool. It's an opportunity for our community to get to know the guests a bit better. So there'll be some fun ones in there to have a bit of a chat. But I noticed that you've got a really strong following on social media, particularly Instagram. Obviously, for most people out there know in our community that it takes a lot of hard work to develop that portfolio online. What what are your tips and tricks, mate? How have you achieved what you have with your following, and I suppose more importantly, how important is marketing for your brand and for your business?
Honestly, I would say my main marketing is word of mouth, recommendations, that sort of thing. Number 2 would be Instagram. I find a lot of things, people ring, especially when it's like an owner builder and that sort of thing too. They'll often ring, asking questions. You can say to them, look at my Instagram. There's a picture there, I did this or I did that. And it can save, again, a lot of time on the phone trying to explain to them things. They can see what you've done, different jobs you've worked on, that sort of thing. Yeah. I think it's a great thing. Yeah, some people ring me and go, oh, you work for this guy or you work for that guy. We love that style or that build or that sort of thing. Or we see you in that area, so that helps. I'm definitely by no means tech orientated at all, so there's no trick reels and beautiful videos and that sort of thing going up, and I even find waterproofing, well, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but try to just show different aspects of it. Sometimes put up photos of the finished build. It's actually nice to see the thing when it's completed, and even some of the more different sides of it, the remedial sides of it, and like I said, negative waterproofing and a few different things that I suppose isn't your stock standard waterproofing. Yeah. I like to do that and be able to show, different products and what these other products can do and things that can be achieved outside the realms of the norm.
So it's a little bit like a pride portfolio, right? In a
way.
Look at how proud I am of the work that I do.
Look back and remind yourself of different things you've done and see it. And definitely.
Would you
Sorry, I was just going to say, and on the other hand, it's great to look at, I love looking at other contractors' work, seeing what they've done in different projects, especially those ones that are a little bit outside the box. And you can see some of these other guys and they're super proud of their work too. and it's great to see. And again, new technology, new things. We're building some amazing structures these days. And even I love looking at tunneling works, bridge works. Not just domestic builds. It's construction's a brilliant thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you imagine? Geelong's obviously, I don't know if I shared this with you. I think I'd probably tell everyone in every episode, but I spent 10 years in Melbourne and just moved back home to Queensland in late 2021. So I'm familiar with the area, and I actually worked for National Tiles when I was down there for 5 years. So that's where I know Chris and Ash so well.
Yes,
is the Geelong area? Yeah, right. You are right. Great guys. Sorry. The Geelong area, are there a lot of trades there in the waterproofing space, and would you consider yourself sort of a leader in that area? Do you get a lot of young guys coming to you for advice and things like that, or?
I've got a lot of people on Instagram, a lot of guys asking me, hey, what did you do there? How did you do that? What product did you use there? That sort of thing. Geelong's moving ahead in leaps and bounds. Lot of subdivisions going in. It's growing at a rapid rate. I seem to do a lot of stuff down the coast. I head down to Lawn a fair bit, down the Great Ocean Road, Surf Coast, and also
nothing wrong with that.
And the and the Bellarine Peninsula, too. So it's I suppose I love doing the architectural builds, the one-offs. Again, it keeps you interested. It keeps you thriving. It keeps you chasing more. You always. It keeps your mind ticking how we're going to accomplish some of these things. Wide, varied sort of work zone, up to Melbourne, a bit around the Toorak area as well for a few builders.
Yeah, cool.
But you can't complain when you're driving down the Great Ocean Road in the morning to go to work, that's for sure.
No, mate. It was one of the first things I did when I moved down there was jump in the car and went for a drive down the Great Ocean Road and checked out places like Lawn. Without a map in front of me, my memory's shot, but there's some incredible places along that drive. That is just one of the must things that you have to do when you visit Australia. So
yes, totally, yeah.
Cool. Well, mate, I think we've asked enough work questions at the moment. Might come up again, and that's perfectly okay. But, mate, tell me more about outside of tiling. I mean, who's the special people in your life, if you want to share, of course, with us? And, what's, obviously these people inspire you to be the best version of yourself every day. And what hobbies are you involved in? What's mate?
Like I said earlier, I love riding my bike, road bike, gravel bike, just getting out, any sort of adventure, really. Camping, fishing with my son, big priority. I think personal life, it's a bit like your work life. Surround yourself with amazing people.
Yeah.
I've had a few trials and tribulations, and every time it's amazing people that you surround yourself with, and those people always shine in those times of when you really need somebody. And like I said, I think that goes in personal and work life. It's a huge thing for me. I think I've only got a small group of core friends, but I value them very, very highly. They're just amazing people, and I think that you can't ask for more than that in life.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's great. Fantastic. Hey, when you said you ride a bike, I'm imagining it's a road bike of some sort.
Push bike. Not a motorbike.
Oh, it is push bike. Okay. Yeah.
So, so push bike. And, I love my gravel bike. So I love just getting out.
Right.
Again, great way to clear your head, get off on some gravel roads, some tracks, and just go explore nature and see where you end up.
That's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend it more highly.
When you said that, man, I was like, straight away, Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise, BMX Bandits. I was like, yeah.
When I was 16, back in the day.
When I was a kid, mate, I used to watch that all the time when I was younger, so it was great. I used to love it. It was on replay all the time.
Yes. And Rad. Did you ever watch Rad?
Yeah. Yes.
Best next movie ever,
Yeah. Oh, my God, that's showing my age. Well, mate, what does the rest of 2023 look for you, personally and professionally? Anything happening? Anything exciting?
Well, work's My brother and his family live in Noosa, so trying to get up there as much as possible to see them.
Yep.
Warm weather and a surf is always brilliant. So and it's always high on my goals to get up there and visit them and see them. He's got his own business up there. He's a big inspiration to me and his family. So anytime I can get up there even for a couple of days, it's a highlight of my year, that's for sure. So hopefully awesome. Get up there before Christmas kicks in.
Nice.
And then it'll be the crazy Christmas rush for work and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, we're starting to feel it already, mate. It's every day I wake up, there's more phone calls, more emails. People need things yesterday. It's pretty intense. Pretty intense.
Definitely, yes.
Well, mate, look, we're at the pointy end of the show where we really do like to ask some fast track questions. This is our final 4 fast track questions, just to get to know people a little bit better. And I do like to try and start with some fun ones. So I'll throw them at you, and we'll see where we land, mate. What are you not very good at?
A lot of sports.
Okay.
I wish I was a little bit uncoordinated as a teenager, but I wish I was better at sports. But yeah.
Okay. No, good. What's one lesson that your job has taught you that everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Never take shortcuts.
Perfect. I love it.
Whatever you do it to the best of your ability.
Excellent. Tell me about, now I've got a number here, but tell me about, it can be 3, but it doesn't have to be 3, right? I'm not going to hold you to this, but tell me about 3 most influential people in your life and how they've impacted you. I'm happy for you to dial that back to 1, but yeah, give us a bit of a look in on.
My dad definitely brought us up with a good work ethic and is a great family life. Good Australian working family. It gave us that that drive to get out and work and. He was the one that, why I wanted to be a tradesman. So definitely him. My older brother, Rob, like I said, he's up in Noosa. He's built a brilliant business and a beautiful family. He always inspires me to keep going. From a work point of view, I definitely have to say, I'm going to mention just a couple of guys' names, Paul Buckley and the late Steve Buckley. Absolute gentlemen and absolute brilliant, have been a brilliant help to me. I think they're pretty well known, the boys at Marpay. They have been inspirational in helping me throughout my career, and I'd really like to thank him. And probably Steve Petrosky too. He's just, it's just like they can never do enough, and that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and I can't thank him.
That's awesome, mate. Shout out to the boys from Marpay in Melbourne. I know Paul and Steve. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, mate. I just lost my train of thought because I was thanking people. I'm going to go with, this is a good one. It's a cracker. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Save more money. I was a bit fraudulent with my spending when I was young.
Yeah.
I would have got into commercial a lot earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
The money's a lot better.
I
think. Yeah. And buy yourself a couple classic Porsches and put them in a shed somewhere.
I know. Oh my God. Actually, I can resonate with that, right? I'm not a car enthusiast at all, but when I see the old cars on the roads, and I think, if I could give myself one bit of advice, and if I had the determination to do it, was to actually buy one of those cars and just hang on to it. It's such a cool feeling.
Yep.
Such a cool feeling.
That would have been. That's right. Yes.
Well, Adam, you've been a bloody legend today. We really appreciate you being on the show. And I know when the community hears this episode, they will also appreciate you sharing what you have. And, obviously with that mindset of strengthening the business of tiling. And, that's our philosophy. And, there's a lot of different trades that go into making that successful. It's not just about tiling. There's stone and waterproofing and caulking and carpentry and, tiling is my background in terms of the industry that I've been involved in, but certainly, waterproofing plays such an important role in most facets of everything else that goes over the top of it. So I know that people will want to reach out with you after the show and would love to put some information in the show notes. If people want to connect in with you directly, mate, how do they, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
Probably Instagram. I think that's most people are on that these days. Most people have got access to it. It seems to be where I get most of my, most of my people from, or email or phone. But all my details are there on my Instagram page.
Oh, cool.
And I'd be happy to chat with.
Awesome, mate.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic, buddy. Well, mate, thanks again. As we like to wrap up the show, we really appreciate you being on. And until next time, mate, stay connected.
No, thanks, Mark, and thanks for doing this. I think it's a great thing for the industry, definitely.